Welcome everyone to our book launch as part of GCSJ. It's lovely to have everyone here. My name is Gunjan Sandhi. I'm the director for GCSJ, and today we have Renu Bhandari, who will be presenting and speaking to us and sort of outlining the book that's recently been published.
Thank you, and a very warm welcome to everybody who's managed time on a Monday morning to come and attend this session. And I think that shows the passion for the topic and the passion for supporting each other in this space. So my name is Renu Bhandari, and it gives me great pleasure to be presenting about my book, which is authored by me 2 years ago. And I'm doing a formal launch today about examining stereotypes and parenting behaviors of South Asian heritage parents, discourse and case study. That's the title of the book. Next slide, please. I want to start by a couple of, sort of ground rules, like Gunjan has said. I know there will be lots of questions, and that's what I'm here for, to meet people and to discuss the topics. But my very sincere request is to hold the questions right till the end, where I'm going to open a section, Let's Talk, and that will be my interaction with the audience going forward. So the session plan is very, very simple. I'm going to start by who I am and what has led me really to think about this book. Section 1 is going to be all about the introduction of the book. Section 2, I'm going to take you through an eagle's eye view of what the chapters are. And those 9 chapters, what do they really hold for the audience? Section 3 is all my quotes from the book, which are really, really powerful quotes coming from the people and from the content that we have been analyzing. And the last section there, very, very importantly, talking to the audience, interacting and seeing what really can be done in terms of taking this topic forward. So next slide, please. Thank you. So before I start, I want to have a big space to thank all the people who have actually made this dream of mine come true. My big thanks goes to the Center for Global Challenges and Social Justice team. My sincere appreciation to all the parents, the UK community who has participated in doing an online survey, who have actually given me the consent also to share their experiences and stories more widely within the UK population and worldwide. As always, all research has to go through the ethical approvals of the Open University. And this project also has gone through the Open University Human Research Ethics Committee. And there has been a serious, discussion of data protection impact, and all the related participant consents have been taken before venturing on this journey. All images that are shared on this slide, excluding my own image there in a minute in the next slide, are all a copyright of IGI Global USA. And otherwise, there are only 2 images in the entire presentation, which I have drawn from general sources, and I acknowledge those in the slides. Next slide, please. So about who am I and what really led me to this journey, and I will share this very openly with my audience today. I'm a senior lecturer in the Open University, and my intersectionality is as a BAME woman of Indian origin. I am an academic. I'm a parent of 3 grown-up children. I've been living in the UK for the last 2.5 decades after my marriage, and I moved to the UK with my husband here to start a family and live in a country where I was not brought up. My research informs my teaching, and this has been my continuous journey throughout all my academic career and otherwise. I really have a good passion for sharing and creating spaces where discussions, insights enhance the understanding of changing society, and they make it adaptable for creating inclusion for all of us living together. Next slide, please. So here is how the book idea started. And, if you see the left-hand side picture where it's little saplings in the hands of lots of people. And this is actually my connotation of how people in my social circles, in different schools, in activities, platforms, a lot of Indian parents, a lot of South Asian parents were coming and sharing their issues, their concerns, their worries, their adaptation, their worries and struggles and saying, well, I'm not sure whether, it works in the UK. I'm not sure whether it works, in a different context. And those little stories were very, very delicately becoming part of what I really wanted to do. On the right hand side is an image of, a countryside picture I thought of. And these are all those little saplings that I have planted in this particular book, right in the middle with the QR code. If you want to scan it, please do so. This is all on my slides. And this will give you a very good image of why I have picked those little stories. And I have used my academic background to knit together. Do certain things really happen in the UK society? Are these just narratives of our families, outside, maybe in a school or in a playground or in an activities platform? Or does the UK society now is evolving with the changing influx of new people from different countries and different cultures? So my photo elicitation is here, and the word I've used, photo elicitation, is part of the narrative, and you will see why I'm using this as I go through the journey. Next slide, please. Thank you. So this section is all about the introduction of the book and, what were the key aims. Next slide, please. So this book is not about psychology, not about sociology, not about childhood studies. It is an amalgamation of number of disciplines, which are actually part of raising children, parenting, and living in different global spaces that we already root ourselves as a family, as a parent, and bringing up family together. So if somebody asks me, Renu, can you place this in psychology? I would say yes. Can you place this in sociology? Yes. It is a very fine weave of multiple things put together. And the reason for it is that our wide diversity and understanding as academics can only become relevant if we knit these various disciplines and ask them to come out of their little research related domains and come together to support and make that societal impact that we are thinking of. And here I'm talking more in terms of the equality and diversity agenda. And the Asian immigrant population is the fastest growing group across the world. And it is very important for UK to be on part of and at par with this global development. And this is the evolving society or a global society that we are all becoming part of. It is not good enough to have tokenistic ideas and saying, yes, we do it as part of inclusion. The important thing for academics, the important thing for humans all across the globe need to be that we need to overcome these barriers, be it discipline barriers, be it equality barriers, and give people the space where everything integrates into supporting each other and becoming a less discriminatory society. So here, if you look here on the left-hand side, it's a pizza-like shape, but it's not a pizza. It is talking of the three components that I have really focused on in the book. I have actually, taken in lived experiences of the South Asian community. I have talked of exploring and busting certain stereotypes of South Asian community parents. And I have also talked of the theoretical basis and research in different discipline domains that support the parenting of South Asian parents. Are South Asian parents really pushy? Are they really valuing education over everything else in the UK? Do you think that the cultural navigation and adaptation is relevant? Do you think that parents go over and above to support the family, and they are striking a very delicate balance between their cultural expectations and the cultural expectations of the country they are coming in? So to follow all this in the left-hand side pizza kind of diagram, I have explored these under 4 different methods I have used to just test myself and see whether these experiences, which came to me as little saplings, were they really true? Were they really authentic? Were they really talking of our UK society? Or were they just very particularly narratives of families where maybe there was a slight bias in what they were? So the right-hand side diagram shows of the empirical research evidence. It talks of the semi-structured interviews I have used with parents. I also went and did an online survey online with the UK-wide community to check on certain stereotypes and how they understand the South Asian population. And I have used in my interviews photo elicitation techniques very widely to encourage parents to share their parenting experiences in more ways than one. Next slide, please. So I set off with a couple of aims for this particular book. What was I really trying to do? I was trying to put on my scientific hat of a researcher, an academic, the knowledge of psychology, childhood studies, after I have taught psychology and childhood studies for over 2.5 decades, to say, well, what is the parenting style of South Asian parents in the UK? And what are the stereotypes against this particular community of people here in the UK, and do those validate against each other? I then went on to do a lot of empirical research around, is there a framework we can put this in together? And that's where the uniqueness of this book lies. So the first key aim was to develop a deeper understanding of what UK community thinks about South Asian parenting and their perceptions. I wanted to capture the community voice, and the best way, like all other techniques, is an online survey and giving them people some space to write their narrative as well if they wanted to. I also wanted to travel with the reader to the windows of parenting of South Asian families and capture the real stories of parenting with no filters. So think of it as, going into an unknown space and opening these windows of these families. And in my book, you will see I have showcased 9 windows of parenting. Every parent very different to each other, every parenting style talking of their uniqueness, their accommodation, their adaptation, their stresses, their struggles, their achievements, their celebrations. And those windows of parenting have become the most valuable thing I have done so far in my academic career, about listening to people and listening non-judgmentally about what parenting really means to them. To present a theoretical and academic study, framework as well of recent years on parenting and South Asian parenting communities was also my agenda. There's lots of literature around, South Asian communities, and people are picking up on the wider range of who and what cultural heritage they bring. What value do they add to the countries they move into? Is it a difference between the cultural heritage of the country of origin and the new country they come to, or do they adapt, modify, and bridge the gap for their children as they navigate this complex rubrics? So I think that's the most important key aim for this particular research, that the theoretical framework is actually capturing and basing the research we have done in terms of qualitative analysis, in terms of surveys we have collected. And very gradually, you will see the 9 chapters and the 9 windows that are there in this particular book are actually showcasing the authentic lived lives of South Asian families. Next slide, please. Now, I know there is going to be a question about, the wider range of South Asian families, and, how did I focus on which particular area or which particular countries was I focusing on? I had a very clear idea in my mind that for a small attempt like this one, I will not be able to capture the wide depth of the South Asian heritage. So for the focus of this particular book, the qualitative interviews and the survey, I had to limit myself to the South Asian countries, which are Afghanistan, Bhutan, India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Nepal. And out of this, I went out for, as available sample, because obviously I had to reach out people for consenting to be participating in these interviews. And it was only availability sample that I could reach out to, and people who were consenting to participate in this. So here, briefly about our understanding really, and just setting the ground about what the book is. So Transitions for International Families is a very complex matrix of intertwined aspects that require adaptation and resilience quickly from parents and children both. It is not only one person making the change; it is a whole family making that change together in a new country, navigating their own expectations, their upbringing, their cultural understanding. Parents try to make sense of the new country's culture, and they also try and aid better adjustment of the family, because I think that is a key goal of every new adaptation of a new family. International families often find themselves in dual domains of countries of origin and the country they moved into, impacting their economic, psychological, and social aspects. And I think this was the gist of what I really wanted to explore. And the image there you see at the bottom of the slide is actually an image of the survey that was carried out UK-wide online. And these were some of the keywords that came out in the word cloud. I'll come to this in a minute, but next slide, please. Thank you. So the unique things about this particular book could be summarized into 6 quick points. This book is about real stories of real South Asian families in the UK. And these real stories are being captured with no filters. People have authentically come and given me their time and their, discussion space to openly share with me their struggles, their celebrations, their, big achievements of the family. They have also openly, in certain windows of the book, have shared aspects of discrimination, bullying, and even in one of the windows, which I'm about to reveal, color differentiation and discrimination, which they faced in the UK. So there is an unfiltered scenario here, which is an authentic way for any researcher to be sharing and building on. This book frames theory and knowledge of various disciplines. I think I've touched already on that, which is talking about psychology, sociology, cultural studies, and childhood studies. It aims to dismantle some stereotypes held by UK-wide population, and it talks very, very, sort of strictly in one chapter about, do these stereotypes really hold in UK community, or are these just our understanding of what these misinterpreted cultural norms are? It presents psychological, social, emotional, and cultural dilemmas experienced by parents, and this should appeal to a wide variety of audience. And I'm sure I can see it already from the names that are familiar to me. People are logging in from all across the globe just for sharing that passion as academics, parents, practitioners, teachers, and policymakers. And the last point there is my very humble endeavor. I'm not trying to fix anything in parenting. I'm not trying to fix anything in society. What I'm trying to do is dive deep into culturally diverse families and pick up their real stories so that we can come together on bringing policy, other agenda together to make everybody equal in society. Next slide, please. So here, I know because this is an academic presentation and obviously it's a book. So, I know there are people in the audience who would say, well, Renu, where is your academic evidence? Where did you pick up all this information? So only a couple of ovals here talking about the kind of studies that you will see in different chapters. Some studies are talking about, the theory of planned behavior. Some theories are talking of how South Asian families value education, family name and honor connected to education. Some theories are talking, and some researchers are talking of how the grandparents in South Asian families are the most familial, important connection for young children and developing families in a new country. Some studies like Atkinson 2022 highlighting that there are parenting differences in the 21st century, and not just the children but the adults themselves, the parents themselves are under a lot of stress for parenting. And if I remember correctly, a few months ago in the UK newspapers, there was an item, a news item saying that many of the parents in the present UK are taking drugs to cope with the stresses of parenting. Not a very positive news, but what it really shows is that parents are lacking that support. Parents are lacking that kind of comprehensive understanding of what can they do with children, how can they be a good parent without being non-judgmental and still support their children to be global citizens. So some studies here, but I'm sure if you pick up this book, you will see there are lots of studies, lots of theories I have correlated with the evidence that has come through as research. Next slide, please. So in the section 2, I'm going to give you a quick sneak preview of the chapters. And if somebody has got no time at the moment, but maybe in the summer you want to pick up the book and read about it, then this section will give you a very good understanding of what those 9 chapters are. And actually, while presenting just now, I have realized that I have 9 windows of parenting and 9 chapters in the book. So number 9 seems to be really lucky for me. Next slide, please, Gunjan. Thank you. So here they are, the 9 chapters, and I've structured them to sort of triangulate the key components which I shared in my slide earlier. The first chapter is all about introduction to parenting. Second chapter is all about introduction to South Asian heritage. And like I said, this book is a very small effort. I could not have captured the entire South Asia in this initiative. My attempt has been to pick up a sample of people who were from the countries that I highlighted. Chapter 3 is talking about stereotypes. What are they? What are the perceptions of parenting from non-South Asian parents? Chapter 4 is the community voice of parents in the UK, where 65 parents participated in that survey, giving me feedback about, do these stereotypes really hold? Are they busted? Do they hold? Or are they valid in the present day society or not? Chapter 5 is the first section of Windows of Parenting. This is a section where real families, their real stories, and narratives of parenting sort of start to showcase. Next slide, please. So chapter 6 and chapter 5 are windows of parenting. And here I have, because I have got 9 windows to showcase, like I was saying to the audience before, it is like opening each window of the house of different families and seeing what their parenting is all about. So 5 and 6 are connected. Chapter 7 is the lived lives of South Asian parents. And here I've done the thematic analysis of the parenting interviews. I've picked up the gist. I have thought of what is similar between these 9 stories that are being told to me. Is there a theoretical basis for this? Is there a discrepancy in these windows? Is there uniqueness that people are building in their families according to the windows of parenting in chapters 5 and 6? So chapter 7 is a thematic analysis with a lot of studies, a lot of key points talking about what can we learn. Chapter 8 is learning from the narratives and themes, what works well and what does not work well in parenting. Now, what I did here was I made parents the experts in the qualitative interviews I was doing. And I said, think of what would be the best advice you would give to any parent. So not talking about parenting books, not asking an American psychologist to think about what works in parenting for an Indian parent, but asking a Bangladeshi mom to say, what do you think works best for a child who is growing up in the UK and you belonging from a particular part of the world? And this is where that depth of ideas, their tips and their tricks of what works well and what does not work well came through. And chapter 8 is all about what works well in that space. Chapter 9 then is a way forward in terms of building communities and sharing and learning. And in this chapter, I introduce a term which I'm sure many of you may have heard about: mindful parenting. What is mindful parenting and how can we raise global children in this 21st century, where there is a, appetite for creative literacy, sustainability, treating each other as a wider humanity rather than we being just individual families. So that's the chapter 9, sort of just next slide, please. So this is chapter 1, and I'm not going to read these slides, but I'm definitely going to post the recording for anyone who would like to maybe engage on. But this chapter sets the scene for the book. It starts talking about what is the definition of a parent, legal definition and otherwise, how are the family structures changing in the present day society, and how the meaning of the word family is very fluid and is very diverse. For the same person, the nature, the type, and what is family may continue to change and evolve. It talks of childhood as a social construction. Its consequent impact on parenting is also discussed here. And the stresses I have been talking of the technological advances, the value systems, and the conflict between the two is also discussed very briefly in chapter 1. So a very good foundation, a solid foundation of just highlighting who we are as parents. And if somebody wants to learn about parenting, the definition of parent sets itself in the 21st century in chapter 1. Next slide, please. Chapter 2 is now pitching very gradually towards the South Asian heritage. And remember what I've said, I have focused only on the parts of the world which I could on this particular book. And maybe in the next couple of events and proceedings, I may decide to focus and make it bigger in terms of South Asian heritage. But for now, this book focuses on India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Maldives as well. And out of the 9 windows, I will tell you, there were only a few missing where I could not reach out to those parents for qualitative interviews. So this chapter actually sets the scene for what is South Asian heritage kind of parenting, and the universals of parenting. Are parents universal in the way they behave, and their behavior, sort of parenting styles universal? Or do we have certain unique characteristics about South Asian heritage parents? Demands around accepting, rejecting, adapting to the new social norms and expectations can be very, very stressful, time consuming. And in many cases, they can, impact parental relationships along with the parent-child relationships. And I think this is something that all of us as psychologists and practitioners need to be sensitive to, that it is not sometimes the behavior pattern is emerging not because of, just because the person wants to behave in a particular way, but there well could be social, cultural, and other factors around them that could be impacting the way they are behaving. The values and beliefs of Asian families is also discussed. We are talking of interdependence, welfare of family, things like moral responsibility towards one's families and parents. These are some of the values that South Asian families, proudly talk of and hold very close to their heart. So this chapter highlights some of those for somebody who's new and somebody who is from that heritage to identify very closely with that. Next slide, please. Can, can we have chapter 3, please? Thank you. And this is the chapter now, which is talking about stereotypes and perceptions of parenting from non-South Asian parents. It discusses how stereotypes are oversimplified, generalized beliefs about a group of people, but they often do not consider individual differences. And this is where people could feel and could get rolled into different kinds of discrimination pattern, different kinds of inequalities. And those oversimplified assumptions also lead to emotional labor on the part of families to try and navigate that, to make sure that those stereotypes are not paid heed to when they are talking about their children's education, when they're talking about taking on a new job, when they're talking about moving a house, and so on. So this chapter talks of what are stereotypes. It talks of some of the key stereotypes, and these were the ones that I actually addressed in my survey as well. Academic success over happiness of their children. Do South Asian families value academic success over happiness of their children? Are girls treated very differently in South Asian families? Are South Asian parents pushy? And the whole concept of tiger parents also is being talked of here. Next slide, please. Chapter 4, this is where I went out to the community, and my sincere apologies for that word cloud being very, very small, because I wanted to give you a gist of what really this chapter holds and what did my survey say about the stereotypes. So 65 participants from all across the UK participated in this online survey, sharing their own parenting experiences and exploring their understanding of South Asian parenting. About 73% of parents who responded to the survey had South Asian friends and colleagues and acquaintances. And the widely held notion that South Asian parents value academic achievement came across clearly in the survey. So majority of the participants said, yes, we do believe this is the case. And from all the experience we've had, South Asian families do value academic achievement. Some stereotypes, like South Asian parents, are very strict disciplinarians. They treat their sons differently from their daughters. They are aggressive and vocal in schools and academic settings, were not widely held by the community of participating population here in this survey. But if you want to dive deep into chapter 4, you will see my evaluation. You will see the figures, the percentages, and all the detail there. But for now, I can very confidently say that majority of the stereotypes about behavior of being strict disciplinarian, being more aggressive, treating their children differently from each other do not hold very strongly in the UK wide population. Please remember, this is a very small sample. We have to go with the flow on that. And yes, I did not have the opportunity to make it bigger and bigger. So for now, it gave me some assurance that, certain parts and the UK-wide population is slightly aware of the richness of South Asian culture. However, there are pockets where we still need to make that impact societally. Next slide, please. Chapter 5 and 6, I have clubbed together because these are my 9 windows of parenting. And I put the ethical approval all across the slides and even at the start, just to say that, anything I have shared here or elsewhere is part of the consent that I've taken from the participants right at the start. And all those approvals were secured before the book actually got onto the road. So these chapters 5 and 6, they are a very, very beautiful roundup of those semi-structured qualitative interviews that I conducted with the South Asian families. And 3 aspects I was very prominently focusing on. The psychological aspects, which was talking about the developmental, emotional, and coping techniques. Social aspects, which was covering schools, friends, family support, and challenges, and the cultural aspects, covering the importance of cultural teaching and learning interaction in the family. Next slide, please. And on this slide, I'm going to give you a minute to sort of hold your thought and what these images are. Like I said, there were 9 windows. I have only brought these 5 images. Along with the semi-structured interviews, the parents were requested to bring in a picture or a photograph that reflected their parenting and support to their children. This photo elicitation task was used along with the semi-structured interview to create a frame or the window of parenting for each of the parents. So the first one is a painting done by one of the participating parents. The second one is an image or a picture of the trophies. The third one is a silver glass and an anklet. The fourth one is an image of an Hindu god. And the fifth one there is an image of a pancake. And now I know it's lunchtime, but we can't really think of pancakes at the moment because I'm going to open the floor for our chat. I've only brought 5 images, and like this, the book is dotted with images. And the narrative behind these images is also very, very deep. I have only brought in three little windows here with three perspective. I'm going to give you a minute to take on board the first three images, the painting, the trophies, and the silver glass with an anklet is what I'm going to open for you and my audience to see. What are these windows of parenting? Next slide, please.
Sorry to interrupt, Renu, just to say you're getting to about 12:40.
All
So
right, okay. I better be quick then. Thank you. So, window one, this is a father, a senior academic. Country of origin is India. He's got two sons, 29 years and 20 years old. And I have just brought here a short narrative of social networks and friends from that interview. And what I want to bring your attention to is a picture. And in the picture, we shared that this picture is one of the football trophies my youngest son won. This image reminds me of my role in taking him from one football match to another, watching him from sidelines. Joy of children playing had a therapeutic effect on me. This is a reminder that I was part of the experience and the joyful journey. So the image itself leading into the parenting style of the parent. And here, very briefly, I won't read the full quote because Gunjan has reminded me of the time. The deeper struggle of how this parent was talking about, deeper struggle was to make friends. And we did not have a big social circle, and we did not want our children to risk seeing only one side of society and not create a tunnel vision for them. So very, very important. This is the first window. I'm just going to leave it there, but do read these books. This book is online for any university or academic area that has IGI global license. You can read the story in greater depth. So this is window one in the book. Next slide, please. This is window six, and the anklet here and the glass that the mother shared. She's a 37-year-old mother, country of origin India. She holds a PhD. She's married to a white British man, and she has a 16-month-old daughter. And what she's sharing here in this quote is, to me, this anklet and this silver glass was given to her by her gardener back home in India after the birth of her daughter. And the last three lines, to me, it signifies how deeply such commitments to tradition run and how we carry those bonds of love with us wherever in the world we are. As a parent, I ensure that such items and memories that we are tied to are part of the legacy I leave for my daughter. Again, a very, very interesting, interview talking about culture, tradition, and how that navigation of marriage, being married to a white British guy, and how she wants the culture of South Asian heritage as well passed on to her daughter. Next slide, please. This is window 7 in the textbook. This is one of the mothers, a 45-year-old mother, country of origin, Sri Lanka, two sons, 25 and 20 years. And she has a stepdaughter, 9 years old, from a current relationship with a white man, white British man. Her own experiences, she talks of how her family differentiated between her being the girl and her brothers treated differently in the way the family behaved and the schools she got sort of sent to and so on. She also talked, and I will bring your attention to the middle column there. She's talking very deeply in that interview about discrimination and color, and this new relationship or her new partner is a white British man. And she's saying the stepdaughter, when I first met my stepdaughter, her mom was not happy that Dee and I were together. And I don't know whether it was her mom or her. Either way, she'd come and touch my skin and say, "Oh God, you are so dirty." And like this, there were lots of quotations throughout those 9 narratives about bullying, discrimination, color differentiation, where people have openly shared their journey of parenting. And here, all about the image. Here is an image of a painting I did. It reflects the freedoms and opportunities when everyone stands together. This is also a very powerful window, window 7. Thank you. Next slide, please. I'm just going to leave everybody with that image and just very two quick narratives, and then I move on very quickly to the last section of Let's Talk. So the third image was shared by a very young mom, and she talked very openly about her postnatal depression. And she said, this image of God's actually gave me strength to come out of my postnatal depression and be part of my children's journey and be more effective as a parent. And she openly talked of how the second generation of South Asian parents, need to make that space aggressively for their children. And in that interview, in that window, you will see her passion coming across. The last picture here of the pancake is a Bangladeshi mom. And here she was talking about the food choices and how many a times, just to please her children, she would just throw the menu out of the cupboard and say, well, let's make something nice that you enjoy, and my choices are not so important as your choices. And this picture was just to show her style of parenting there. Next slide, please. And I will open the house to the discussion, not going very deeply into the lived lives, but these are some of the themes: staying close to the country of origin, culture, values like kindness, compassion, competitiveness, the emotional journey of color and discrimination. And very interestingly, out of this slide, I will just pick up intra-cultural competition and tension. There were 2, 3 families who talked very openly about how the other friends in their social circle in the UK are actually all the way there to, judge them, misguide them, guide them in a way, and compete with them throughout. And that created more tension for certain families. Next slide, please. And I think I will jump to chapter 8 very quickly. Good life of the 21st century, theory of planned behavior. What is parenting all about? And here I made parents the experts, and I'll bring some quotes in my next slide just to show you what they are. And in here, talking about chapter 9, talking about mindful parenting, raising global citizens, and what can we do to talk of the universal humanity rather than just families, just culture, just particular country.